All right, here we go, wrapping it up for the weekend, and we've come to the big endeavor. It is the pick five play for Pegasus World Cup Day. We'll do the late pick five, starting in race number 9, going all the way through to the end. And the end, of course, will be the Pegasus World Cup Invitational. All right, so let's get started. Our first leg is going to be race number 9. That's going to be the Grade 3 McKnight, mile-and-a-half over the turf. And this race is going to feature 12 runners. Taking a look at them, Zerev and Active Fool, Ohana Honor, Layabout, El Siciliano, Missed the Cut, Padiddle, Awfully Naughty, Balnikov, who's cross-entered for another race, Summer Cause, Divan Propos, and Hammerhead, rounding out the field to start the late pick 5 action. So where we're going to start is to the inside. We think that Zverev, whatever the heck that horse's name is going to be interesting, and I think is going to figure in here from that spot. We'll get something to run at on the turf course, and I think the distance, even though they haven't gone this far just yet, I don't think it's going to be a problem as they stretch out to the mile-and-a-half. I think that horse figures from that spot because of the pace setup that they will get. Also in the mix is a horse that will also be coming from off the pace, and a horse that's probably a bit more experienced and more proven at the distance of a mile-and-a-half, Missed the Cut. Love the horse for Bobby DeBona, second off the layoff. Last time out, first off, a bit of a break, quite a bit of a break, right? And they went a mile and a 16. That's just kind of getting them back into it. I would probably, to be honest with you, maybe want one more start before we go a mile-and-a-half. But looking at this past performances, mile-and-a-half means nothing to this horse. So they're not really going to need it. And I just look forward to seeing Michael Ivorone looking like an absolute crazy person in the winner's circle at Gulfstream Park. So that'll be worth it right there. And then the other horse that's going to figure here is you need pace. And even though it's a mile-and-a-half and you usually don't get horses that are going to like just take off and run away, Active Fool might do that. If Joe Bravo decides, hey, you know what? My only chance to win this is to get the hell out of here, right, and go, he might be able to get away. But I doubt he can get away. But I want to use him because I think he does present an interesting pace factor. So that's what the first leg looks like for us. 1, 2, and 6, right? Active Fool with the speed. Zarev to the inside is going to make the move from off the pace. Missed the Cut. The 6 will also make the move from off of the pace. All right, that's your first leg. We go to our next leg, which is going to be race number 10. That's the Pegasus World Cup Filly Mare Turf. Mile and a 16th. It's Saturday at Gulfstream Park, and it's a Grade 2 event. Ready for Sherrill to the inside. You know, I feel like a mile is what she wants, but you know, she's a tough mare. Heredia to the inside. Used to show some speed. We'll see what they choose to do. Destino d'Oro off the pace, making the move. Breath Away off the pace, makes the move. Classic Q, speed. Caitlin or Greatness can press with Johnny V. Whiskey Decision, no speed really anymore. Proctor Street, no speed. Cravata d'Oro used to have some speed. I don't think so anymore. And One More Time, you know, they didn't show speed last time out, but I believe that she is definitely capable and probably wants to be forwardly placed in our time. Speed, stretching out. Irad Ortiz, you better believe it. Moving on up is going to be making that move from off the pace, I think is very live in here. Then you've got the alsos in Candy Quest, Deep Closer, and Awesome Check. Closer to the outside, who might draw in to this race. And that's where things start to get interesting for us. So let's start taking a look at what we're dealing with in this next race. In our time, Irad definitely goes to the lead here. I don't know if he can steal the race, but he's going to be forwardly placed, and he has to be dealt with. Then there's the horse that I have a sneaky feeling he might draw in. That's Awesome Check to the outside. He's on the also list here. I like him because he's versatile, and I think that he's in the mix. If they go fast, he can sit back. If they go slow, he can go with them. So I think he's versatile enough to be included, even though he's unlikely to draw in. But my top pick is going to be Proctor Street. Great form. Tyler Gaffalione is riding great. He's also undefeated in his 3 mounts aboard this 5-year-old mare. I don't think we'll get a bunch of value, but once again, we're talking pick 5 now, so we're trying to just stay alive. So we think Awesome Check's interesting. We think Proctor Street is even more interesting. And so that's what we're going to do We're going to definitely make Proctor Street our top pick. We definitely believe that the speed horse of In Our Time figures, but we're probably going to go with Classic Q. I think he might be in a better spot. So we did show you and In Our Time, the speed horse in here, but I think the other speed horse, Classic Q, figures better on the front end. And then the 8, of course, is Proctor Street, the top pick. And the 14 is going to be the Awesome Check horse to the outside. If Awesome Check does not get in, we'll probably go ahead and add In Our Time to that speed pace scenario that we need for Proctor Street to pick up the victory. You see? 1, 2, 6, first leg. 5, that's Classic Q. 8, Proctor Street. And the 8, Awesome Check. We like there in that second leg. All right, we move on. Third leg. 7 furlongs is your distance for this particular race, the inside information. Start taking a look at some of the horses that we think figure. Once again, 7 furlong is the distance. And Joe Bravo has a chance to steal away here with a horse by the name of Beyond Belief. And Beyond Belief is the 6 and has some speed. I don't know if they're the quickest, but they've got enough speed to get out there on the front end. Going 7 furlongs, it's tough to steal away and keep going. But I feel like that horse really only has one way to go, and that's to get out there on the front end and make some problems for everybody else. Now, he's also probably going to get some pressure. Dazzling Move right next door has got some speed to go with. Patricia Ann's got a little bit of speed. One Magic Filly's got some speed. So my point is, I think there's enough to set it up. You set it up for this runner here, Sterling Silver. Love this horse turning back from 1 mile to 7 furlongs. And even if you look at the 7 furlong performance in the past, okay, didn't win, but I'm not going to worry about that. I like the running style. I like the second off the layoff. I like Javier Castellano in the irons. I think they'll get enough to run at. I might even single, especially if there are no scratches in this race, which means the field remains intact, and I think there's a lot of speed signed on already. I like Sterling Silver quite a bit. And we'll probably just go ahead and keep the speed in there. We're going to go Joe Bravo on Beyond Belief, the 6. And then Javier Castellano on Sterling Silver, the 8. That's in that third leg there, as we're halfway through the pick 5. Now we get to the last 2 legs, which we've already kind of talked about in our full race analysis. We get into the situation with the race on the turf. It's the the Pegasus World Cup Turf Invitational, which we've already kind of talked about. We talked about in a previous show. We feel like Cabo Spirit is going to be a problem for everybody in this race, and there's only one horse that can kind of like stay in the mix with this runner. So we know that Cabo Spirit goes to the front end. We trust Mike Smith because that's what Mike does. That means that there's only one horse that can kind of go with, and that's the horse that we made our top selection in the Pegasus Turf. That is Cugino, who I think is going to be right there. And so with those 2 horses, and really, I don't know if the South African horse is going to go. So I'm going to keep it simple and go with Cabo Spirit and Cugino. I think they're both going to be Cabo Spirit's your leader, obviously. Cugino sits right behind, beats all those closers to the punch, and gets to the wire before the rest of them. That's how it looks. Now we are 4 legs through our Pegasus World Cup late pick 5 action. And then, of course, we get to the biggie of the bunch. And this is where we'll probably use most of our coverage, because we've already talked about the race. We know that there's speed in the form of Disco Time, but we don't think he's fast enough to stick around. But we do believe that Full Serrano is. And we do believe that Skippy Longstocking is versatile enough to be wherever the frick he wants to be and be in the mix when they turn for home. We do believe that Tappan Street is so talented that he's going to be there. He's shown that he is a talented, talented horse. And we also believe that you can chuck White Barrio out, the defending champion. I just don't think he's coming into the race in good form. And then I believe Poster will be in the perfect spot. He'll get enough to run at, and Junior will ride him like sovereignty. Sit back there, chilling, and then when it's time to go, bada boom, bada bing, I'm out. And so that's how we play it. A 50-cent play will cost us $72, 3x3x2x2x4. That's mathematicals. So you do all your math and you see we go, and you might even be able to cut it down. Like it depends on what happens with scratches, and that's a decision for you to make. I love nothing more than to eliminate horses and play for a greater amount, as in a dollar play. But for our purposes here, and we'll have a couple of days to kind of take a look at this and make some adjustments, I think that this 50-cent play at $72, I think can really bring us back something nice. So I think we're going to kind of stick with that and see how it goes. And especially since our top selections are horses that are going to be valued. So, we feel like we'll get value in a lot of these legs. The only place we probably won't get value might be the inside information, because, we really do like Sterling Silver, and Sterling Silver in race number 11, that's the number 8 horse in race number 11, might get bet and might be a shorter price. But other than that, I think we're okay, unless we get a short price that comes through in the big race number 13. But I think we're in good shape. And like I said, you've got a couple of days to see what happens with the scratches or anything happening with trainer decisions or anything like that. Stuff can happen up to the last second, and then you'll make your adjustment. But that's what we're going to do. That's how we play the Pk5 on Pegasus World Cup Day. Races 9 through 13, 50-cent play, $72 investment with a chance to whittle that down even more. All right, that's how we do it here on Horse Race Bets. In the meantime, in between time, until next time, I'm Ken Rudolph. Good luck and enjoy whatever you're into. Let's get this money this weekend.